Lift Power is working on projects in Quebec and Canada's north aimed at hard rock lithium mining. That stock is up 70% in the past year. And now the company is acquiring more projects in Quebec, and it plans to sell new shares or new equity for $40 million. We're joined by MacDonald, CEO of Lift Power. Francis, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So remind us what you're all about. We know that lithium, Australia has a huge hard rock mining industry for lithium. Canada, not so much. It's really pretty nascent. What do you plan to do here?
Well, just to talk to that point for a minute, to Australia and Canada. So Australia and Canada have very similar geology. And Australia was really leading the last run up in lithium mining. So the last cycle of EV sales and demand when in the 2010s. But lithium is also present in Canada, and we've got incredible resources out there. It's just that finding them sometimes is a little bit more difficult than Australia. For Lift, what we're planning on doing is we have our flagship asset in the Yellowknife, just outside Yellowknife in the Northwest Territories. But what we announced today is the acquisition of Winsome Resources, which is an Australian company that has a hard rock lithium project in Quebec. And also, as part of that, we announced the acquisition of a property just to the south of Winsome Resources as well.
So at this stage, what project is closer to actual production, closest to actual production?
The Winsome Resources property, Adina, is closest to production. And one of the ideas that they had was refitting a diamond mine. So this is a diamond mine called Renard. It went into care and maintenance, and the processing for diamonds is actually very similar to the processing for lithium. And so if they went down that route, this would be potentially in production in 2029.
That's interesting. So have you got any kind of a budget, roughly? I know it's early days, as to how much it would cost to get into production?
This would be going off of Winsome's original technical study or scoping study, and it was about 350 million Canadian to do that. But the real unlock for Lift right now is by putting these two properties together. So this is the Winsome property and the one to the south. And the deposit sits right on the claim boundary. So you can think of this as a line just drawn on the map. And sometimes those lines run right over the top of deposits. And so out of the 78 million tons that Winsome has in resources, there's only 35 million tons that can be within an open pit. But if you take that claim boundary away, we think that we can probably double the mineable resources. And so it's really a consolidation within a known area, and you're just taking a line off the map and unlocking a lot of value that way.
What is the economics of producing lithium like that? Do you need an offtake partner, for example?
Eventually, yes, but at this stage, it's a little bit further off from that. But there's lots of off-takers out there, and we're seeing trading houses start to come into the lithium space. So companies like Glencore, they're out there looking for spodumene concentrate. So this is the feedstock for battery chemicals.
So when you produce lithium from a hard rock mine like that, what do you get out? Is it very bulky? Does it need an awful lot of processing to get to the actual lithium?
Yeah, so I mean, these deposits, you can think of them like a granite, and it's very similar composition. It's got one specific crystal in that kind of granite-like rock that's called spodumene. And this is what has the lithium in it. So the processing is relatively simple. We're just concentrating that specific crystal spodumene, and that's the saleable product. And then that would go through a refining process to make lithium carbonate or lithium hydroxide that would be used in batteries.
And do you have any kind of government partners yet, or have you had the U.S. Department of War sniffing around or anything like that?
Lift currently has a corporate strategic investor, that's Avenir Minerals. And this is the critical minerals spin-out that was announced by Agnico Eagle. And so they are at a 9.9% ownership in Lift Power, and they intend to maintain that 9.9 ownership through this next equity financing that we're doing.
Sorry, just remind us, what is Avenir? So Agnico launched this Avenir unit critical minerals unit. Oh, they just did that in October. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So what's next news flow wise from you guys at Lift Power?
So once the transaction closes with Winsome Resources, so we've got some funds allocated to advancing that project towards a feasibility study. So there'll be some additional drilling, some additional economic studies. Those are the big milestones that would come up, and then continuing on the permitting pathway to get towards a final investment decision.
Francis, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks for having me.
Francis MacDonald, CEO of Lift Power.